talking about earnings. RBZ Jewelers reported its earnings, and Mr. Harit Zaveri, the Joint Managing Director, is joining us on the show to talk to us about their earnings as well. Harit, hi, good to be speaking with you. Well, the Q3 numbers are good with a 25% growth in terms of revenue. Margins have held up steady at around 10.5%. But talk to me about Q4, because Q3, of course, is a better quarter on account of seasonality. What are the early trends telling you about Q4?
Q4 is itself a wedding season. I think till February end, we are seeing a strong wedding season over here. And Akshaya Tritiya coming in on May 10. I think Q4 would be somewhere, and the funds draining in, the equity funds coming in. I think Q4 will also show quite a good result in terms of, as Q3 has shown. So yes, we are expecting a strong and a good Q4 as well. I think the company has already invested in the resources of human HR resources for fueling the next year's growth. And I think with that, I think the next year, next fiscal year, we are confident to have a good results.
So what do you define good results as for next year? What could be the total growth? I know you had talked to us about the volume figures already in the last interaction, but in terms of, revenue, and again, if you can reiterate your volume growth target, and what kind of margins will it come with? Will it stay around that 10% mark, or there's scope of improvement here also?
See, the margins are basically, more on the business model. So if you have more of services business, that is job work business, the margins are going to improve, but the top line won't improve that much. But if you have retail and wholesale business, the top line would improve, but the margins would decrease. We would generally look at on the wholesome, like the return on equity or the return on capital employed. But to justify, how the margins will work, I think Q2, the services business are the strongest one, because the corporates or the organized retailers try to book their goods, or procure their goods much before the season, so they are well advanced planned. And in Q3, generally we see the retail inflows and the wholesale inflows coming in. So Q3 and Q2 are the stronger ones. Q4 is a little bit milder than Q3. But still, if the season of Akshaya Tritiya, let's say, is much earlier, then Q3 could, Q4 could also be good. Q1 is the slowest among all the seasons, and I think that is fairly seen in the results also.
Okay, so Q4 and Q1 are seasonally on the weaker side a bit, while Q2 and Q3 are strong. But I also wanted to get a sense, Harit, from you about your expansion plans, because of course you've been largely a Gujarat-based company with a lot of outlets there in Ahmedabad, etc. What's the plan to open more showrooms, or would you continue to be a bit more B2B rather than B2C?
So the company has already got a manufacturing facility of 2 tons. Right now, we are thinking of going for a larger expansion of facility, but we still want to judge at what time this could actually be appropriate, because a capex of any capex would actually have a little bit of impact. So a right time for building up a capex and factory expansion plans would be a thing to understand. And on the other side, we already have an expansion of 3,300 square feet of retail floor space. So the building was already acquired last year, and we have it was around a 19.5 crore long-term loan was taken on that thing. So 3,300 additional square feet of floor space in retail will be built up. Wholesale, right now we are already having a manufacturing of around a ton, and we have an installed capacity of 2 tons. So right now there is no question of as such an infrastructure built up. I think once we optimize that capacity to, let's say, 80% mark, we will be building up the future capacity for it.
Okay, so that's the expansion plan in place. On that note, Harit, we let you go. Thanks so much for making time speaking with us.